Hey, it's Carl from artofshred.com, and I am here with a Ibanez AX120. And what we're going to do with this is, this was requested on a previous video, and I'm sorry I forgot which video, forgot who left the comment, but somebody asked for me to show how to do how to fix sharp frets and fret sprout. So first things first, let me just show you how sharp these frets are. So I'll take a piece of paper towel here and just rub them along the fret here, and you'll see it it catches a lot and it shreds. So yeah, we have a bunch of fret sprout, a bunch of sharp frets on the bottom there. I think the top here isn't as bad, but there is right around here, right around the 12th to the 15th. There's a few that also got shredded. So yeah, we're gonna have to do a bunch here. Now, obviously, first things first, need to remove the strings. I'm gonna not show you how to do that because you already know, so we'll skip ahead to that part when I start actually working on this guitar. But you're gonna need a few tools here. To fix the fret sprout and the sharp frets, we're going to use one of these Fret Guru fret end dressing files, which are really cool, that you don't actually need to tape off your fretboard because two sides have the grit and two sides are smooth, and they're one side is kind of rounded over, so it's not gonna mess up your fretboard. That said, I still, when I'm doing it on a higher end guitar, I still tape off the fretboard. But for this cheap Ibanez AX120, I'm not gonna do that. And I don't need to, it doesn't mar the fretboard. So not a big deal anyway. One other thing I do wanna point out is I don't have a ton of tools. I have just these few tools, and a professional is going to have more. That said, you don't really need more to do the basics of what I'm doing. And in addition to that, I've had professional setups that were done worse than what I do myself. So I consider this a professional setup, even though I'm a hobbyist like you. You can do a professional level job at home with just a few good tools. And of course, if you're doing any kind of fret work, you also need to polish your frets when you're done. And for that, I just use 9 grits of high grit micro mesh, and that's like $20. I will link all of this stuff below, of course, so you can purchase it if you want. Let's get started. Next scene, this guitar will have no strings. All right, we've got the strings off now, and let's get to it. So just need to find the frets that are sticking out. So here we have the 16th fret, and we're gonna do two different things with this fret end file. First thing is the frets that are sticking out, we just wanna get them flush with the fretboard. And then we wanna round over the edges of the frets to get those burrs off, because some of these have frets sticking out, some of them have just sharp edges, all right? And both of those things make guitar playing really uncomfortable. It's too bad when a beginner's guitar comes with things like this, but it is what it is. So let's get back here. Actually, the 17th fret also is sticking out a little bit. These seem good. Yeah, the 16th is sticking out a lot, 17th a little bit. Oh, anyway. And we'll do the 17th just a little bit. Nice. 15th sticking out a lot. And so you basically, with this tool, the way I do it anyway, obviously you can see, I just push, I kind of put my finger on there and give it kind of steady pressure and just push down. And it, depending obviously on how far the fret is sticking out, it doesn't take too many. So these are all good. This one feels still a little sharp there on the edge. We'll have to fix that in a moment, but first I just want to fix all the fret sprout. And you do want to be mindful, obviously, of the binding. I'm not too worried because this is a cheap guitar, but again, for a more expensive guitar, I would tape it off. All right, so I'm just going to finish all of these as far as the fret sprout, and then we'll move on to doing the fret ends and getting the burrs, rounding those over a little bit there. All right, so we've got all of the fret sprout done, but we still have a bunch of sharp frets. And what we need to do, like I mentioned, we're gonna have the file on the edge of the fret, and we're gonna kind of do a little bit of a rounding motion. It'll get these edge burrs off the frets. And what I'm actually gonna do is do it on literally every fret, because I love how that feels on my hand, to have those frets kind of just slightly little rounded there. So I'm gonna do that on literally every single one. The ones you wanna watch out for is when you're doing these high frets, because you could mar the finish. And so another thing where I would tape this off if I was working on a high-end guitar. But for this one, I'll just be careful and make sure not to smash the finish. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with that. One thing I did forget to do here, which I always blame this on recording and red light fever, that I forget things and whatever else. I need to tape off the pickups, because although there's not a lot coming off of the frets, a lot more metal comes off when you're doing a fret level. Pickups are magnetic, and you don't want the shavings to get all up on your pickups. So we're just gonna tape those off. And now we don't have to worry. Back to it. And a lot of this is just feel. It doesn't take much, a few passes with the fret dressing file to get it smoothed out. And it's such a drastic difference. Actually, that one still has a little bit. Such a drastic difference. And yeah, so these are gonna look beautiful, feel beautiful once they're all polished up. Let's get back to it. You don't need to watch me do every single fret. You get the gist of it. It's really not difficult. Just a kind of rounding motion, and that's it. So I'm gonna finish this up, and next scene we will do polish, and then I will lemon oil the fretboard. All right, now once you've got all the frets nice and smoothed out, rolled over there, or rounded, you can check with a new paper towel. Not getting any catching. Feels nice. Now we're gonna take our micro mesh pads. I have 9 in grits from 1500 to 12,000. And this is really a pen polishing kit, but a lot of people use them for frets, including me. We'll use some fret guards to keep the fretboard from getting too messed up. The easy way is really to tape off the fretboard, and then you can be much more kind of aggressive or quick, but this is fine. And we just want to polish it. You've seen me do this before. We're gonna go every single grit. So polishing is actually a little bit of a long process because of that. And that's why if you tape off the fretboard, it goes a little bit quicker. And so I'm not going to show you doing all of the polishing here. I'm just going to show you one more thing. Take the sanding pad and go kind of along the edge like this, a little more aggressively than I'm showing you here. And on the top as well. And yeah, do that with every grit. And when you're done, you're gonna have beautiful, shiny frets, which I'll show you in the next scene. All right, so all done there. I don't know if it really comes across how shiny the frets are. I'll try to do a B-roll up close showing it. Before we do the whole lemon oil thing with a clean rag, gotta wash your hands because a lot of that fret gets on your fingertips. So I'll wash my hands, then do the lemon oil, restring it, and we'll be good to go. Now, I like to use these microfiber sponges. So I'll use this one to apply the lemon oil and this one to buff it out. Of course, both clean. And of course, if you want, you can use a clean microfiber rag or probably even cotton. I don't know how much that matters. Let that sit for just a few seconds. Take the clean one and wipe it off. Oh, and of course, before I did this, and I forgot to show it and film it, take a rag, a different rag, and wipe down the fretboard first to get all the little pieces of fret and metal and whatever off of it. And that's just a dry rag. Feels beautiful, looks beautiful. Let me wipe a little bit more off here. So now all that's left to do is restring it. All right, so there we have it. A nice, beautiful fretboard, nice and smooth, better than you'll get from many expensive guitars, really better than you'll get it from anything really but probably a custom shop, depending, don't hold me to that, but it feels really nice, really smooth, mirror finish on the frets, fretboard looks beautiful now. What more can you ask for? And this is a cheap guitar, so when you get a cheap guitar with a real nice feeling fret job, it really improves the experience. So yeah, hope you learned a little bit. I'm sure some of the professionals are going to leave me some wonderful comments. I'm happy to, of course, learn. I learned this from people who build guitars. I'm sure there's things I did wrong. I have no issues with you telling me what I did wrong here. What I can say, again, is this is a better job than a lot of professional setups I've received before. So part of that is, this took me about an hour. Obviously this video is a lot shorter. I take my time, I do a nice job, and yeah, there it is. Probably took me more than an hour, I don't know. But in any case, looks beautiful. Can't wait to string this up and play it comfortably now without getting my hands shredded by the sharp frets. And of course, again, review for this Ibanez AX120. Subscribe because it'll be coming eventually. See you next time.